Shogo Mobile Armor Division review by MandaloreGaming. Again, just to reiterate, zero idea what this is, and also, you know, this is a very Japanese mecha, you know, like Japanese and mecha are not the two words I kind of associate with Mandalore's channel, so this is kind of this is kind of weird, and obviously it really piqued my curiosity because of that. So yeah, let's check it out. Also, this is an old-ass Mandalore video. Holy anime.
Well, now I understand why everyone was requesting this. I had first heard of Shogo a few years ago, but I didn't really look into it. I knew it was made by Monolith, which made the Fear game, which we've already covered on this channel. They've made a lot of games I like.
What the How do you go from Shogo Mobile Armor Division to making Fear and Condemned Criminal Origins? Huh. A long way. Oh yeah, you can certainly say they came a fucking long way. The real mecha anime was the hobos killing people with strange powers along the way or something.
So when this intro first started playing, I was confused. Like, see here, the hallway's all lit and there's the Gibbs and... Well, you can tell this is a little different than the other games I've played. Let's just get into it. This intro is like 2 minutes long, by the way. Compared to the opening, the menu is a complete 180. I like the theme music. But my game didn't look like this at first. It looked like this. Shogo is a good example of one of my golden rules. Just because you could buy it on GOG doesn't mean it's going to work. So this is the retail version, and this is after I tinkered with it. So out of the box, it doesn't play well on modern systems, but it can, and there's a lot of people who don't know this. I thought it would be a good idea to list off how I made this happen. Otherwise, you're stuck playing in a windowed mode at about 11 FPS. Shogo doesn't support full screen, but it does support this side.
Oh, it's... What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, it's kind of funny seeing Mandalore Origins where he... Because nowadays he lists all the ways to make the game work like right off the make the game work right off the bat if it's like in a bad shape. So it's funny seeing him mention that, oh, I thought it may be good to list all of the ways to make this game work. They planned ahead in monitor resolution. Oh yeah, man, they were really fucking ahead of the game apparently.
Which I'm going to call Planetarium. The first thing you need to do is download the widescreen patch, which some guy in a forum made. It's pretty easy to enable in the launcher, but we're not done yet. Because the resolution is right, but now the menu is laggy, and the game will be too. DG Voodoo Wrapper is the savior here. It's a wrapper for older graphics APIs, and you can get it for free. The one drawback is almost every browser will scream at you that it's a virus, but you can just ignore that. Trust me. So once you've copied the right files in and got it all configured, you then choose the new display in the menu. So now it runs great, but the controls need work. It's like System Shock, where A&D turns you instead of strafing. But then I realized that clicking wouldn't shoot. It's a keyboard input and it won't let you rebind to a mouse button, unless you load some lines into the game's auto-execute file. Now this wasn't picked up by recording, but sometimes the mouse would start flashing in the center of the screen. Another common problem. But instead of downloading some program to fix that, I just made a blank mouse cursor and used that. There's also an issue where the endgame soundtrack won't play. Running that in Windows 95 compatibility mode fixed it for me, but your results will vary. So yeah, now the game's running. I might end up buying this on...
Holy fuck. Like, how old is this game? Because those are some, like, old-ass game problems. God damn.
Steam just so I could post a community guide there that has all the fixes in one place. If you couldn't tell, it was a little bit of a scavenger hunt to get this going, so now I could find out if all the trouble was worth it. Since I did just spend the past minute making it work, I might as well start with the graphics. This game is from 1998, and it's pretty apparent immediately.
98? So many problems with a 98 game, holy!
But there's something a little different about the characters' faces.
Okay, that's fucking funny.
cases, but I'll come back to that in a moment. Certain weapons have nasty texture seams. There's some stuff that looks downright bad, even for the time. I was convinced this was a bug and this guy had a normal weapon that was accidentally scaled up about 3 times, but nope, this is actually working as intended. Shogo is the first
What the hell?
game in the Lithtech engine. It would be developed for Monolith's later games like No One Lives Forever, Fear, and even Shadow of Mordor. Compared to its competition at the time like Quake 2 and Unreal, it's a pretty good looking game. I can't say it looks better everywhere because there's some issues around. Some of the outdoor environments are pretty bland, but then you compare that to the game's interior environment.
I don't know why this review isn't more popular. Probably it's just because it's a pretty underground game. Nowadays, Mandalore is obviously well known for covering like hidden gems, but this is like from like the beginning of his channel. Essentially. So like back then, yeah, his famous reviews from back then are like Fear, which is like a widely known game. So it's just probably a combination of this being an old video and this being quite an obscure game. Because like I said, nowadays he reviews obscure games, but like people already know who Mandalore is. Back then, not so much, I guess.
The areas they added details to look great. Monolith was just starting to experiment with how much they loved high-tech facilities, parking garages, and offices. Monolith was
That fucking gun looks so weird. That's a very weird like pistol model. Holy. Something about that middle part. Jesus.
just starting to experiment with how much they loved high-tech facilities, parking garages, and offices. This was pretty cool stuff. And where have I seen this before? Oh. The thing that noticeably set Shogo apart from its peers were some of the effects. The gore looks really good because the blood is actually made of 3D objects. The result is that shooting people would cause blood to really drip down and go everywhere. They did make blood the year before, so it makes sense they'd keep going with this. The special effects are all over the top, and it's great.
When you shoot somebody in this game and there's an explosion and his guts go everywhere, it's very similar effects to what Cruelty Squad uses for its Gibbs, because every time you shoot somebody in that game, he also fucking explodes into million Gibbs, and that specific...
Moving on to the over the top, and it's great.
Those JPEG explosions and that specific way that everything goes batshit, limbs just go everywhere. It's exactly like Cruelty Squad. That's kinda wild.
Moving on to the art style, it's what sets this game apart from the others of its time. Basically, it looks similar to other shooters until somebody actually starts shooting. The effects are going for a very specific style. In case the intro artwork and the title didn't give it away, this is a mech game. That doesn't sound too crazy, but back then most mech games looked like this. So instead of making a mech sim, they made a mech-flavored FPS game. But they needed a way to make it stand out from other mech games, so they turned to the devil's paintings. If the intro wasn't a dead giveaway, this is an anime game. I was hoping to never have to use the phrase, this is an anime game, but here we are. I have some explaining to do. I don't hate anime. I hate this. I don't get it. I don't understand people enjoying this. Jesus Christ. Thankfully, this...
Listen, I'm just assuming that segment got him a lot of hate. I would not say that shit on camera, okay? I would not be able to deal with the K-On stance in my replies, so... But I understand what he's saying, because I don't like slice of life animes. I also don't get it. The only slice of life that I could ever consume is something like GTO, because it's it focuses on more grown-up aspects of life, I guess. There was a popular show to show around on Twitter for some reason. I never watched it, so I've forgotten the name. Oh, there was fucking 300 of them.
This game isn't that. This is more in the mecha category. It's more along the lines of Patlabor and Robotech, not really Gundam. My knowledge on the genre is pretty limited. I have seen Patlabor, and I have played 2 Robotech games, but that's it. I feel like this is an important thing to bring up. Everything about the game is anime.
Oh man, that joke runs deep. I don't mind reading Slice of Life, but I never watch them because I get bored of the 500 reaction shots per episode. Fair.
Inspired, and it's terrifying.
Oh my fucking god, those models are so bad though.
Everything about the game is anime inspired, and it's
Why are this feels like an actual horror game thing, you know?
terrifying.
Holy shit.
I do get what they're going for, but the models seem off. I mentioned that it's not until people start shooting that you can see how stylish it is. This is where Shogo's art direction becomes a problem. Those barren areas I talked about really stick out when there's just an anime poster on the wall. The same goes for becomes a problem. Those barren
What?
areas I talked
Unironically looks like a custom Quake map with that fucking, like, literally Quake assets, and then the map maker put a random fucking anime poster on a wall. Isn't that the villain in Corellin? Holy shit, it kinda is. Why the long face?
about really stick out when there's just an anime poster on the wall. The same goes for the environments. The more grounded approach to the levels makes things feel a bit out of place. It's not constant, but when it happens it really sticks out. It's really hard to put into words, but I'll try. They were using top-of-the-line graphics techniques to make the game look realistic, but they show you what the character is supposed to look like. Naturally, they're styled like anime characters. The models are also like this, but look at the background. Everything but the characters is trying to look as realistic as possible for the time. My brain just sees this and tells me it's clashing. It doesn't happen in the more fantastical areas, just the more mundane ones. The stylized effects are great, but less than 2 years later a game came out that showed how it could be done. It's about time I got to bring this up. When the game Jet Set Radio came out not too long after, it used the cell shading technique, so instead of just having some styled effects, everything had a style to it. And I know it's unfair to wish that a game had a style.
Whoa, was Jet Set Radio the first game to use cell shading for its things? Holy.
That was still in development, but what can I say? My eyes have been ruined by this.
Also, wild seeing Mandalore mention Jet Set Radio, holy shit.
Robotech Battlecry ended up doing that. It looks fantastic. So I keep thinking about this weird alternate reality where Shogo was the first cel-shaded game and took off, or at least was a cult hit. So as far as an art style goes, there's good stuff here, but a lot you've seen before. It's the story and the gameplay where things...
Also, like, seeing him talk about this game. Again, I am still waiting for the Oni review, like I have mentioned in like at least 15 other Mandalore reactions, and like seeing this art style and him talking about all of this, I think we're gonna hear a lot of echoes of that in his Oni review. I don't recall which game was the first. Jet Set Radio looked great though. Oh, Jet Set Radio is fucking immortal because of its art style. Holy shit. What a game that just doesn't age.
Get really interesting. Honestly, this game cracks me up.
Sorry, Commander, this area is off limits.
Yeah, whatever.
I have my orders, sir. Please be nice to me.
This is the best game ever made. Holy shit.
This better work.
Tick.
Well, I don't know about that.
What's that supposed to mean?
Do you have a pass? No pass, no ticket.
Yeah, right here.
I'm sorry, sir, but that pass isn't validated. You need to get it validated.
Where?
Any of the shops in Crescent Square can do it for you. Check at the register.
It's incredible. It's one of those rare times where the story and gameplay are so tied together I kind of have to do them at the same time. Let me start from the beginning. The game's protagonist is Sanjuro Shinji Mackerel. The game starts with some background from Sanjuro's point of view. He's a member of the United Corporate Authority. They've been fighting over a planet called Cronus over a liquid called Kato, which helps power spaceflight. They've been fighting the rebels in the Cronus government and a terrorist group called the Fallen. So far, the radicals have wiped out his brother, his girlfriend, and his best friend. But then the game mentions...
War bad, who could have thought? A lot of, from what I understand, a lot of products from Japan are some kind of critique of war, but like mecha anime in particular is like from what I gather a lot of like critique about conflict and the nature of conflict and such. But from what I heard, there are some like, despite how cliche it might sound, there are some like great fucking messages included with like certain Gundam series, but it's just then, you know, it also is popular, so they use it to sell little toys. I wouldn't even redo the voice acting if this game got a remake. Oh fuck yeah, man. Like, that voice acting is needs to be like in Europe we have those like protected cultural sites managed by a international organization that sees to castles and really old historic buildings are upkept and like kept in their original form. Like, we need something like that for video games so that we can preserve Shogo Mobile Armor Division voice acting, because that is a cultural heritage that needs to be protected. They're just kind of under everything else. I'm assuming you meant in relation to what I said about Gundam.
That you're now dating your dead girlfriend's sister.
Huh? Okay. Okay, that's a weird one though. That's the whole concept of how a war against something can accidentally end up furthering it, especially if it's anti-capitalist. Personal favorite is still the Lorax approved Karads. What the hell? Yeah, like this topic has been kinda reignited lately. Like again, big fan of the Castle Super Beast podcast, and like there was a conversation about Squid Game, because on during Gamescom there was a trailer for a Squid Game survival style of Fall Guys game, and Pat and Wooly talked about like how it all came full circle, with Wooly specifically bringing up a quote from Disco Elysium that is just a quote from Marx's work in the real world, obviously. That capitalism has the power to consume any critique of it into itself. And like, yeah, like remember how anti-capitalist Squid Games is? Like the whole point of it is those people wouldn't have to play the fucking dev games if they weren't so fucking poor. And then like the show got popular, so here are all the, you know, toys from Squid Game. Ooh, Halloween costumes. Ooh, here comes the fucking Squid Game gacha game, bro. It's like, it's so fucking funny, man. That was supposed to be a warning, not an instruction manual. It doesn't matter what your product criticizes, because if it gets popular enough, it's just gonna be like a vehicle to drive sales of a fucking thing. So better to focus on aspects, I think, like more telling stories that are supposed to kinda keep your spirits high, I guess. Because then when you sell toys, but your message is also don't inflict violence upon each other because it's a serpent that it's its own tail. It doesn't seem like as bad when you start selling fucking toys. Shockingly, the real life Squid Game people are saying, I guess, that it was a disaster. Making the show was a disaster, with the people in charge taking advantage of others, and was inhumane. Who could have known? Yeah, shocked Pikachu face is exactly the right reaction. Oh man.
Yeah, complicated is a good way to put it. There's a reason why I brought up my limited anime knowledge earlier. Right from the get-go, they have little Easter eggs around. M. Kusanagi, I know that one. A. Shinohara's next door. And Hungover. I get the feeling this game is a little bit of an anime treasure hunt that I don't know I'm missing out on. I'm really confident that they took the sound effects right out of shows. Getting back on track, the only backstory you get is from that intro sequence and from this computer. I learned that the big bad guy was named Gabriel, but I didn't learn anything else because this guy kept talking over it.
Sajuro, this is Admiral Akaraja. Stop fooling around and report for duty.
You told me to come here.
We will tolerate no
Commander reported immediately to Dock S. My patience is wearing.
You learn from the commander, who is also the father of your ex-girlfriend and current girlfriend because this is anime, that you need to go down to the planet to kill Gabriel.
Yup, that's an anime.
Who is also the father of your ex-girlfriend and current girlfriend.
Holy shit, this image on the right, Alois cracks me the fuck up.
Because this is anime, that you need to go down to the planet to kill Gabriel.
Do you have something you wish to share with me, Commander?
Yes, sir. You are my personal hero, sir.
By the way, Commander, I'm pleased to know that you checked into regional diagnostics. It's about time you showed a little initiative.
Stay out of the ladies' bathroom, Denton. Actually, this game came out before that one, so that's cool. For your first mission, you get to choose between one of 4 mechs. They all look awesome, and each one comes with a detailed briefing.
Do they actually have like different mechanics? Holy shit, that is...
The under 25
Or is it just like how they look like? Surely not.
Predator is perfectly suited to combat missions.
I'd highly recommend picking up one of the tankier mechs for your first run. Shogo has a very unusual combat system. Enemies sometimes drop health and armor, you can find goodies in crates, hold lots of weapons, all that good stuff. But when you shoot an enemy, every so often you'll get a critical hit. I'm pretty sure it's completely random. Besides doing a lot of damage, it also restores some of your health. This system allows you to last longer in some fights where you'd usually end up dead. But here's the catch. The enemies can also crit you. This is survivable in a heavy mech, but you spend at least half the game on foot. So if you're being shot, you'll see your health decrease and then bam, you're dead. Doesn't matter how much stuff you have on. But then you have to combine this with the game's AI. I don't know what else to call it other than an absent-minded savant. Because you can do this. But if you go around a corner too quickly, there's no mercy. But here's the worst part. These savants are blessed with precognition. I have proof too. Purple Flash, he crit me. The elevator wasn't quite up there when he shot me, but that's a little bit muddled. But I managed to get this. This is my Sasquatch recording. This proves everything is right, and I'm not crazy. Did you see that?
Holy...
Those are some quick reflexes. My theory is that they can fire from any angle on their hitbox, but I can't be sure. So imagine that, plus the crits.
I'll fire the cannon myself just as soon as I put you down.
That's pretty bad. That is... Yeah, random crits for enemies are like... In a non-strategy setting, that's pretty bad.
Damn.
And here's footage proving why it's a fucking bad idea.
I beat the game in hard, but I also tried an easy file to see how it was, and it was the same with the crits. But there's another weird aspect to the combat. The cars in this game are basically nuclear weapons. I dare you to step on one. Splash damage seems to hurt you more than a dead-on hit. I can't recall other games that do this. So even though you're in a mecha setting, with fast movement and a lot of weapons, you have to play the game very carefully. You get zapped around corners so easily. You have to check around every entryway. The game revels in its ability to drop in on you. If you don't make your own saves, it puts you back at the beginning of the level and you have to watch an
The mech he's playing is reminding me of Metal Wolf Chaos so fucking much. Because it looks like, yeah, the mech of the President of the United States from that one. I prefer enemy crits that have extra effects, not just extra damage for this reason. Yeah, game too easy, so the game devs gave them precognition nonsense.
unskippable cutscene again. You start playing it like a tactical shooter. For example, you get the drop in a robot, but you don't want to be too close when he dies or else the splash damage will get you. Just little things like that all the time. It can start to drive you crazy. The game also has tiny amounts of hidden power-ups you can use. You really need to make them last too, because your health carries on in between levels. Despite all of this, I kept playing. The weapons still feel great and the combat looks amazing too. I also got deep satisfaction from having a gunfight that I won, taking out multiple enemies without getting blasted immediately. So there was enough here to keep me going, but for others I could see them dropping this pretty quickly. I don't blame them. You can get in some terrible situations. I almost forgot. These things transform too.
What the fuck? That's cool! Metal Wolf Chaos was mighty based. Oh yeah, man. So many 90s shooters were like that too. Yeah, but there were less egregious examples and more egregious. This is definitely on the more egregious side of the spectrum.
I was pretty excited. The difficulty means using it effectively is very hard. Once you do pull it off, you feel like a god. This mode doesn't have weapons, but it makes a pretty killer lawnmower. Things like this kept me going, along with the story. Along with the unusual world building. Classical Amish death metal? Megatron Bank? I'm getting eye flashbacks. Some of you Shogo fans might be worried I wouldn't talk about the cat quest. I have to talk about the cat quest. This isn't a side mission either, this is part of the main story. The rundown is you're blocked off by an electric fence, need the owner to turn it off.
Tell you what, I'll turn off the electricity if you'll find my kitty. She ran off.
Your kitty?
She likes to hide in the building by the pumping station. She'll only come to you if you have her toy, so you'll have to find it first. It's probably somewhere in the building.
So Spider-Woman Jennifer Aniston won't turn it off unless we get her cat. The entire level is dedicated to finding this cat.
That's fucking great. Oh my god. The transformation sound effects sound like something from Evangelion. Huh, you're kinda right, I think. Let me just go back real quick.
Transform too.
Oh yeah, that is some like juicy Evangelion sound bites. You are fucking right.
Level is dedicated to finding this cat.
Where are you now?
Don't ask.
So I carve a path of destruction and eventually find the toy. It's
Why are there fucking like enemy terrorists guarding a cat?
Captain Claw from their side-scroller game. But then I hear this tidbit out of no. It's Captain Claw from their side-scroller.
Oh my fucking god! That's so weird! That's fucking Capitan Claw, man! That was such a popular side-scroller in Poland because it had like full like Polish localization. I played that shit when I was a kid, man! Holy! That's so fucking funny. That's such a deep cut callback. Oh my fucking god.
Game. But then I hear this tidbit out of nowhere.
Sick bastards.
For whatever reason, the enemy wants to eat the cat. Was Monolith trying to imply something about the enemies? So you lure the cat out, which leads to this exchange.
Here, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come here, you stupid cat.
Should I even ask?
Just ran into some stragglers that were trying to eat a cat.
Can you say that again slowly?
Pervert.
I'm having trouble picturing it. Maybe you could demonstrate.
Maybe. You must have amnesia.
I like how even in the recording you can see me stop because I can't really comprehend what I'm hearing. They use people literally trying to eat a cat to make that joke. That's incredible.
You shouldn't run away from...
What the fuck was happening in the office when they wrote that one? Never heard of this, but you're making it sound fun. Oh, Kapitan Pazur, as it was known in Poland, or yeah, Kapitan Claw. It was just kind of a run-of-the-mill like 2D platformer, but you also had like, you were collecting bullets because you had like, you know, you had like a pirate pistol and a saber, and it's pretty standard affair. For me, it's just more like, I was not expecting to see fucking Capitan Claw in a Mandalore video, you know. But it's probably, if I replayed it today, it's probably a piece of shit game. That's very unbased of them, cyberpunks trying to devour the kitty. Yeah. That's the whole point of the level, just for that one joke. That is hilarious, but also why the fuck did they write that into the script, man?
Mommy worries about her widow Puka. Thanks, mister.
None of this is what I expected when I started this video. Literally none of it, other than mecha anime. What the fuck is happening with Shogo Mobile Armor Division, man?
Give me a sec. I'll turn off the electricity.
Thanks a lot, lady. You want me to take the garbage out for you? You crazy.
So she gives you a power-up and opens the gate for you. Now get this. That whole thing is optional. You can just kill her and the other guy in the house, run in the back, and then turn off the gate yourself. That entire new level is completely optional. Later you can decide whether or not...
That's based that you can actually do that. Holy shit.
...to betray your army. This will decide the levels in the last quarter of the game and which enemies you fight. You could complete your original mission, which has Gabriel trying to whack you with a pool noodle, or you could take a completely different path. I won't get into the main story because I wasn't that invested in it. The story is like being a kid and flipping through TV channels, then you see, I don't know, Gundam or something on TV and the robots start fighting. Yeah, they're yelling about backstory and stuff, but you just want to see the robots fight. They only show the background in text, but they act like you should really be invested in it. Complete with the other dialogue option in the game about, well, your love life, but I won't get into that. It doesn't affect anything. I didn't care about the main story as much as as I cared about seeing some of the weird background details. Shogo has main events that would be a joke or an Easter egg in other games, but in this one it's the star of the show. Like, you have a pretend rival the whole game that you could just kill immediately in almost every fight.
I think you need to get over this obsession. It's not healthy.
And then you have an actually hard boss battle that you need to cheese because they zap you instantly. Then you run into more weird shit.
What the fuck is this game, bro? What the fuck is...
What is this game? This isn't an out-of-the-way Easter egg or anything. If you want to fight Mecha Hitler, you have to pass through the BG's pool party. Honestly, that sums up the game. I have nothing else to say. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was a pain to set up, but I still feel like I got my $6 worth. For everything bad this game has, it has something good, and vice versa. I'd be interested in seeing a remake or a sequel to it. This game didn't sell well either, because guess what came out 3 months after it did? They had to cancel 2 expansion packs, and I think it's safe to say the series is on hiatus. There's no checklist I could go down to recommend this. Shogo is Shogo. There's nothing like it. This is the first time I made a video on something I hadn't played before, so thanks for the recommends. Even with its mechanic problems and fair share of bugs, at the very least it doesn't try to steal hundreds of dollars out of your wallet. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
How about that red claw, Carla?
Nothing for you, Commander. You're on duty.
What more can you even fucking say at this point, man? There's always oh yeah, this was the beach episode! But instead, like, they had to settle for a pool. That makes sense. They borrowed some contraband from the Serious Sam office to make this. Imagine the universe where this got popular and Monolith went down this route. Oh, I want to believe, man. I want to believe. Right next to Oni becoming a breakaway success, and instead of Halo, Bungie just made a bunch of Oni sequels, and I was like the happiest fucking boy on the planet. The review is going to remain a personal favorite of mine. A shame everyone missed it. Yeah, this review was something else, man.